that allowed me to really become the face of it, and more so just really be in the forefront and become kind of that go-to person. But yeah, man, the rest is history, bro. I posted them pictures on like Instagram or something at the time. Then a few of my homies hit me up. I did their shoes, and then it really just took off from there. And then after that, you know, it's just constantly people hit me up, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Talk about like growing up. I heard you mention your brother earlier. Like, you know, talk about like growing up in your home. Did you have both your parents growing up?
So I had both of my parents I still have both of my parents. They're both still in my life, they're just not together. They got a divorce somewhere when I was in elementary school, probably like 3rd or 4th grade. At the beginning, I took it very hard. I guess like now being older, I now know that at a point in time I was depressed. There was a lot of times where I didn't eat, or I would just start crying out of nowhere, because as a kid, especially as a boy, I wanted to stay with my dad. And my mom was not going for it. All of my brothers didn't stay with my mom, and she felt like the reason they ended up in the situations they were in was because they were not up under her watch. So she wouldn't allow me to stay with my pops. And you know, at the time, it seemed kind of crazy, but in the grand scheme of things, man, it all kind of worked out for itself. Me and my dad, like, best friends now. Me and my mom real cool. The 2 Christmases, that was always cool. But as far as like my brothers are concerned, at the beginning of my life, one of them stayed with us. One of my brothers kind of mostly always stayed in Florida. He did move with us when he was about in the 8th grade, and I want to say I was probably like in the 5th grade. We stayed together. It was pretty straight. We more so just always would, you know what I'm saying, get to bickering over like who game is who, but really wasn't nothing crazy. But it was more so they just kind of showed me like, well, my brother, for instance, actually it's a funny story, man. My brother was finna buy a car. Him and my mom was supposed to like go half, so he had saved up a whole lot of money, probably like $3,000. Supposed to go half. When it came time to buy the car, something came up, so she wasn't able to go half with him. So bro just said fuck it and went to the mall and cashed out on nothing but like J's and like the sweatsuits to go with J's, because I mean we from Macon, so you know how we dress. But that really put me on the shoes, man, and like ever since then I just been in love with shoes. So I'll say that influenced me. Watching them go to jail and actually having to visit them in jail influenced me, because again, I could have been out here doing the same thing they was doing. Now I don't carry myself like that, but in a sense I always tell myself that probably would have helped me. Nobody would have never suspected anything just off of how I carry myself. But yeah, watching my brothers have to go to jail, man, really changed me, because I always see like other people got real good relationships with their siblings, but I understand that's more so the reason I don't have a majority of my siblings spent majority of like my growing up years, or at least while I was in high school, in jail. So you know what I'm saying, it was either calls on the phone or like having to go see them physically. But yeah, that definitely influenced me a lot, man. It just showed me that you have to find another way to get money. Although that money might come to you quick and easy, man, when you're behind them bars, that's different. That's real different.
Yeah. Talk about like growing up, you know what I'm saying, without your father being in the household. Like, how did that affect you specifically, and like with your brothers, you know what I'm saying, not growing up in your household all the time, being in and out, and you know, you having to visit them in jail. Like, you know, what kind of effect, you know, besides, you know, did that lead you to depression too?
You know, at the time, man, as a kid, I really didn't. It was more on some like, they just did what they did, and that's why they was in jail. I've never been the person like now being older and understanding now, like sometimes people just get in certain situations, and they gonna do whatever they feel best at the time to get them out of that situation. So if you end up in jail, it's not necessarily always, you know what I'm saying, you weren't doing it for ill intentions. Like, you know what I'm saying, you might have just trying to feed your family or trying to help somebody out. So, but as a kid at that time, I really wasn't more so tripping about it. It was more so, it was just like, damn, I miss my brothers. As far as like not staying with my dad, what I will say, staying with my mom and not staying with my dad, or not having them in the household, I have a better appreciation for women and just like black women in general. My mom did a lot, or did the best that she could at the time to really look out for us. And it's not to say my dad was like no deadbeat or anything like that. It's just more so that she had us all the time, so of course she was gonna have to do more. But growing up, man, me and my mom was best friends. Like even now, a lot of my close friends are women. It's not like I'm out here trying to smash or nothing like that. It's just more so like I spend a lot of time around my mom, so I understand that they gonna always look out for you, you know what I'm saying? Like it, depending on the situation, as long as you don't do nothing wrong to them, they gonna always try to move in your best interest. And it has created a long line of lifetime friends. Although my dad wasn't necessarily in the house, he always took me to my games. He always showed up at practice. He always made sure he called. He always came through to see me. So I know a lot of people, especially like our age, going through things right now where they might have had a kid with somebody that they probably don't approve of anymore, man. But don't let that sway you away from, like, you know what I'm saying, being in your child's life. Because I know there were plenty of times when my mom and my dad really couldn't stand each other. And even at times they can't still stand each other. But at the end of the day, my dad never let that deter him from being in my life. And I know that a lot of the things that I do today and how I move personally comes from my dad. Even though I wasn't around him, it'd be times where we'd be talking. It's like, damn, like I'm really your son. And it's, all that come from just for him just being in my life. So, nah, as a kid, I think because of, you know what I'm saying, at that time, I really wasn't understanding what was going on. It really didn't have too much of an effect on me. If anything, more so, it was just wanted to be around my dad. I think that's what really had got me depressed. But outside of that, man, like, as a kid, for the most part, was straight. Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. How would you say people would describe, you know, Timauri Jackson, you know, as a student and like before being a designer? Like, how I heard you mention like the sports, like using the sports, and like what kind of different things you were into?
So growing up, my dad played baseball, basketball, and football. So rightfully so, he had me do all three as well. I played baseball more so when I was younger. I really couldn't do that, it just was way too hot. Played football twice. First time I played, I think at Windsor, man, I had got hit real bad, and after that I was like, nah, I'm good on this. But I eventually ended up running it back and I played with my dad at one of the parks in Macon. I can't even remember it right now, but Brad had been playing quarterback, man. It wasn't really that bad, but my center sucked, so I was getting my ass knocked out every game. But that was pretty straight, man. And then, but I really enjoyed hooping, man. I think even me and you played the what was it, freshman sophomore basketball game. Yeah, when I was at Central, man. So I love the hoop. I haven't played basketball in a long time recently, but it was more so like, I feel like, now that's one thing I will say, if my dad would have been in the house, I feel like at that time he probably would have worked with me more, you know what I'm saying? When I hit like 14, 15, kind of realized I wasn't gonna get no taller. Not to say you should give up just because you're short, it's just me being realistic with life. I knew I wasn't putting in the work, and I knew I also wasn't gonna get any taller. So once I kind of figured that out, it was more so like, I enjoy basketball, I'm always hoop with the friends, but this ain't something I can take professionally. As far as a student, shit, it just depends on what school I went to, or what school you know me from. I mean, middle school, even my first year at Central, I was in the IB program. I always like in gifted classes and stuff like that, man. I was trying to be a straight A student because at that time I really wanted to be a surgeon. By the time I got to Warner Robins and went to Houston County High and Warner Robins High, they'd either tell you I was either sleeping class or I just went at school. I think my senior year I probably missed like 80 days. But it was really more so, man, like, I've just always been the person that it even hurts me now that I'm in college. School, your GPA, that doesn't determine you or your work ethic. It's a lot of times, man, where I could do an assignment, do it perfectly well, and probably won't turn it in. It's just because I ain't had the time or I didn't make the time. But I've always been a good student. I actually enjoy school to a certain extent, you know what I'm saying? Before I graduated, I never thought I was going to college. At that time, I really thought that business and where I was working at the time was gonna be my thing, but everything happens for a reason, man. Now that I got up here, I done met different people that could possibly help me down the line. just being in a different atmosphere. You know, because I never tell anybody to leave home or leave your friends behind, but you do have to be brutally honest with yourself and just be conscious of who you hanging out with. A lot of times, man, especially now, the people I kick it with or spend the majority of my time with, even if we just chilling, whether it be playing the game, smoking, drinking, whatever the case may be, I'm still getting something out of the conversations that we having, because a lot of the people I hang around with, they all got businesses, or they all trying to do their own thing, or we just all, you know what I'm saying, on the same wavelength as far as like setting our kids up with generational wealth, or just trying to do better about our finances and things like that. So I say, if you can't leave, or if you don't want to leave, or if, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to leave people behind, just be conscious of what you taking in constantly on a daily basis, whether it be on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, conversations you having. I think a lot of people now, if they know me, would say I'm very quiet. Not because I'm shy or I don't want to talk to people, it's more so I just don't feel like wasting my breath, man. If we're not talking about anything that can benefit me nor you, and we not like friends for real, we ain't talked in a long time and we just catching up, really don't see no purpose of just really trying to have a conversation just to say I had one. Now we can benefit from it, then I'm all down for it. We can talk for hours, but yeah, I think that's what most people would probably say about me now if they knew me.